Hello everyone and welcome back to Greenhouse Rambles, our relaxing little Q&A series where we settle down into one of my favorite games of all time, Plant Tycoon, and answer some of the questions that you guys have asked. And as we jump in, I need to admit I left it on normal speed again, got busy for about a day or so, came back, and a lot of our plants are dead. Look at these poor things. What have I done? They all just ran out of water. Oh my gosh. But thankfully we got a few useful seeds from them. So we're going to go ahead and pluck whatever seeds we can from the dead ones. I can't believe I killed so many things. Some of them possibly could have been really rare. But oh no, and my seed box is full. Too much going on. All right, well, let's clean out the things that I have 100% killed and start planting new things. Because sometimes you make mistakes, my friends, and you just have to brush yourself off and try again. Because everything else is, like, not trying again is just too depressing. All right, let's keep going. We'll clear this out of the way. I'm so sorry, little ones. You were all going to grow up into big, beautiful plants. What have I done? And I'm keeping these ones till I can pluck the seeds off of them. All right, but yes, so this is our question and answer series. Like I mentioned, just for those of you guys who are not familiar with it, I kind of relax by playing Plant Tycoon and answering your guys' questions about what goes on in the series, what goes on in my life, my opinions on things. And I'm a big sucker for these kinds of Q&A vlog stuff because I love hearing, oh wow, these blue star maples are pretty hardy. I love hearing what goes on in people's minds and in their lives and the personal stories they have to tell, because I think the more that anybody, oop, there's a little bug, got it. The more that anybody shares their story, the more that you can have a deeper sense of empathy with the entire world. So I really encourage you guys to remember, it's not just like people who are like, oh, that's a famous YouTuber, which I'm not, but you know what I mean. Just, it's the opportunity for anybody to share their story is always out there, and I really encourage you guys to take it, because you don't know how your story, which you may not feel is that important, might actually be the key to unlocking somebody else's life and really helping them gain perspective on things. So there's a beautiful butterfly. Get out my net. No, I missed it. I really want a new butterfly net more than anything. Oh my gosh. But that being said, let's go ahead and move into some of your guys' questions as I transfer these seeds over. There we go. All right, so thank you guys so much for your amazing response. It's really fun to see how many of you love the rambles, which is great, because sometimes when you just start diving in and you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to literally start rambling now, and we'll just have to see how people take it. You get a little bit nervous. But you guys have always been 100% sweet and kind and wonderful about it, and I just can't thank you guys enough. So now for some questions. Simon asks, of all the zoos you have made in a game, what's your favorite? And I would have to say that right now, my absolute favorite is the season 2 and 3 world for zoo crafting, because that has custom mods. It has so much work and love put into it. I can't believe we've been in there for almost a year now, you guys. Have we been there for a year? Oh my gosh, I need to figure out when a year is, and then we need to celebrate the anniversary. And we're getting ready to try to figure out how to invite in lots of other new people in and just make it available for anybody who's really eager and curious to come pop in and join our world. All right, and then are you guys ready for selling? All right, there's a seed there. There's a seed there. And then I think it's okay to go ahead and sell you blue star maple. Well, I don't know if do I have some blue star maple seeds? Yeah, I do. All right, so let's go ahead and just sell this puppy so we can get moving and grooving. There we go. But yeah, I would say my favorite zoo I've built so far is definitely the season 2 and 3 world of zoo crafting. So like the third zoo crafting world in Minecraft that I've ever had. And it's got like a year worth of love just poured into it by so many people. Not just me, but Ben, Alex, Pavo, Mara, Anasia, like Huck has added things. When it's just a near day. It's just amazing to see what everyone has made, and it's been really amazing to see how we've been able to learn new skills, and we've become friends with mod authors who have been able to customize the world. And I just know that it's probably a world that will last for years, and I have huge hopes and dreams of being able to invite other YouTubers or aspiring YouTubers, or even just some people who I really know and trust onto the server to be able to make it be a world that can come to life. It's basically our very own like MMORPG mixed with all sorts of fun, creativity, and friendship, and a sandbox environment that we can do anything in. So I have huge hopes and dreams for where it will go, and I love that. And I love that. So probably like definitely a zoo crafting world. There's just so many little things too. And it's so fun to open up the random chest. And when you've been in the same save file for a year, you get all these random items and you're like, what the heck is this? And then it reminds you of an adventure you went on. And I just really love that. So that one, but then also my Zoo Tycoon 2 worlds, I would probably say either the Safari Zone or... Well, I think actually the Safari Zone is probably my favorite of my Zoo Tycoon 2 worlds that I've built in zoos because it was really, really big. It was on the biggest map, which often crashes. Zoo Tycoon 2, half the time just crashes on me, so that's why I don't record it very much anymore because it's such a headache. But I do love it because it offers so much opportunity to educate people about the natural world, and it's a lot of fun. And I loved building the giraffe feeding area and the area where like you can ride the little Jeep through and look at all of the different rhinos and warthogs and the zebras and giraffes and the meerkats that are everywhere. That was really fun. Our constantly escaping cannibalistic Nile crocodiles are interesting. I want to go see our pygmy hippos. Oh dear, I think I might have to go and record some Zoo Tycoon 2 now because I've started thinking about it again. And I'm sorry, little man, I don't have that kind of flower yet. I'm working on it. And I'm working on getting the cool fountain and everything. All right, and then just a silly girl asked a couple of really awesome questions. One is, I've talked in the past about my depression and seasonal affective disorder, which is when it's gray and dark outside, you get really, really, really depressed in the winter. And I used to think that that was just kind of a thing that... Yeah, it kind of happened. I didn't think it was that big a deal. But then I moved into the mountains and it was gray for a lot longer than I'm used to. And it was like hitting a wall of depression. And I couldn't believe it because I've been through so many different types of depression and anxiety and stressors in my life. And eventually you learn that depression, there's lots of different types of it. And so you gain the skills and the abilities to like work with or around or beside or under like one type of depression, like when you're in a bad relationship or when you're really depressed because of where you are in life. And then they throw a whole nother type at you where it's like, and now you're going to be depressed because it's gray and cold outside. And that's a whole different type that required a whole different set of coping skills and a whole different set of motivators. And a lot of them were biologically based, like getting new lights for my house, making sure no matter what I was outside, even when the sunlight was pathetically weak because of the evil winter clouds, forcing myself to go on at least an hour-long walk a day, like those were biological necessities to just survive with seasonal affective disorder. So with our upcoming move to Michigan, just a silly girl asks if I'm worried about that because there's long, harsh northern winters, and that can be incredibly hard for her, and she was wondering if I feel the same. And yeah, I am worried, but Chips and I have talked about that. That was actually one of the factors in trying to figure out what to do, and we feel like where to go for his grad school. And grad school is not something to sneeze at, especially not the kind of things that he wants to do with life. And so I didn't want to be an inhibiting factor on where we went for his schooling because there are things I can do to try to deal with it, including we're hoping to make sure that I have an office when we move. And that may not pan out at first because it's very hard to find a house to rent when you are on the other side of the country. And it's still several months away from when we're moving. But when we do move, then we're hoping that I'll have an office and that I'll be able to put up a lot of the special bright lights that will mimic the sun all over the room. I want to have a humidifier going. I will keep a heater going. I will basically make it into a tropical paradise full of plants because exposure to greenery, exposure to a certain type of UV lighting. There's actually sunlights that they specifically make for you to sit under when you have seasonal affective disorder. It's an important thing when you live in the northern climates. My uncle actually also has seasonal affective disorder, I found out, and he basically lives under a like full body sun lamp that he lays under for an hour every morning in the winter in Utah. So I didn't know that it was that bad for him until I started talking about it. And then surprise, surprise, he's like coped with it for years using that method. And so I'm going to be doing those kinds of things, basically turning my office into a beautiful tropical greenhouse. I'm going to be forcing myself to go on walks, and actually doing the vlog channel with the walks is a huge help in that. And nobody's buying these plants, so let's see if I can prune them up a little bit, if people will start buying them. Whoops. Okay, that wasn't so probably a good move. Sometimes you have to prune them a little to like show the flowers. Like, see, that guy has a flower who's hiding back there a little bit. But yeah, you have to like prune them just a wee bit and then see if anybody wants them. But I think I just killed these guys, so we're gonna sell them for dirt cheap. But yeah, there are those factors that we're going to be dealing with is trying to set up my office so that it's basically a tropical paradise. And then walking and getting the vlog channel up and going actually was meant to help me with walking more. And it really does, because I get so excited to upload vlogs of like, guess what I found today? And I have a feeling it's going to be like that when we move to Michigan too. And I'm also going to be trying to focus on like my health and fitness routine and trying to just like get more active. Like, when I was really my happiest, I had this goal of hitting like 10,000 steps a day, and I was able to do that because I worked so many jobs and you sit a lot more as a YouTuber. But I would love to see that goal come back. So it's just keeping active, keeping healthy. I'm going to monitor my diet a little more carefully. Going to be sitting under the lights. Yeah, I have a whole game plan. This is getting a little excessive as I'm babbling about it. But there's an entire game plan of things that we have in mind that I'm going to make sure to do, because seasonal affective disorder is not a joke. And it is not nice on yourself. It's not nice on my relationship with Chips and our family unit together. It's not nice on my community when that hits you like a brick wall. And I mean, what are you going to do? The sun's not going to come back. You can't force the sun to come back until it comes back. But then the other ace in the hole that I'm really like have up my sleeves, and I'm crossing my fingers so hard that if seasonal affective disorder decides to smack me in Michigan, because we're going to be there for 6, 7, 8 years, if it decides to rear its ugly head and try to smack me down and destroy me, there are greenhouses on campus in Ann Arbor that I will probably just make myself live in during the winter months. I'll probably start volunteering there. I will probably see if I can start picking up some biology, like plant classes again. And yay, my plant finally sold. And then basically I'm just going to stay at those greenhouses. They're big domes. You can actually look them up. They're on the Ann Arbor University of Michigan campus. If you guys have ever been to them or know someone who has, please let me know about it, because they sound amazing. But I would pretty much just go where the plants are, the tropical plants are, and try to live with them. So yeah, that really, wow, I kind of went off on a tangent for way too long on that. Sorry about that, guys. But it's a big issue. It's a huge issue. And I really believe in being as proactive as you can make yourself about some of these things. So that is why I talked about it so much. So yes, I am worried about it, and I intend to smack the heckadoodle I can out of, and this plant's just not going to sell. I think I killed it, so I'm just going to sell him. There we go. I intend to smack the heckadoodle out of seasonal affective disorder when it tries to rear its ugly head back in my life when we moved to Michigan, because it got so much better after we moved out of the mountains and into the Piedmont area of North Carolina. That altitude change changed my entire life and where we moved. We moved from a very kind of dark, just sort of cheap student housing apartment that didn't really have good lighting because the sun was on the opposite side of our building the whole day. Come here. No, get in my net, dragonfly, darn it. To a house that, like, I have a 180-degree view of huge windows with sunlight pretty much all day and trees that are green everywhere. And we have decided that that's going to be the most important thing when we move is location. Even if we have to get in a little bit to try to get to campus, or even if it's not that close to grocery stores, we want to be close to a green space. That is absolutely the most essential thing that can happen. So again, it's for my mental health and my well-being, and just we both noticed it was a transformative change, not only for me, but for him, for the unit that is us. It just changed everything when we moved here, and there was more sun and there was more greenery, and I had access to the park right behind our house. I walk out our door, down the stairs, out the back of the apartment unit, and boom, I'm on a 2-mile walk in a beautiful green space. And those are the most important things I think I've ever run into in my life. And we're going to make sure we have that when we go to Michigan. So yeah, I'm really babbling about it because you might sense there's a little bit of an undercurrent of worry that we won't have what we have here there. And I'm trying to reassure myself that even if we aren't able to like find an apartment just like this there, where it's green and awesome and it's next to a green space, we're going to keep trying. We're willing to move until we find the perfect spot so that we can just be exposed to nature like that. And that's something I definitely need in my life. I caught him. Yes. I definitely need in my life. So, okay, I talked way too much about that. And then just a silly girl also asked, what 3 words would you use to tell us about Chips's personality? Oh, there's another bug. Kind. That was the very first thing that actually attracted me to him when I saw his picture, was how kind his eyes looked. So kind. Oh, geez, this is hard because it's like, how can I wrap up that amazing person in 3 words? So these are the 3 words that come to mind now. But if you asked me again, I'll probably have 3 different words. But definitely kind. And patient in like the Zen way. Patient. Oh, there's a beautiful bug. Get in my net. Patient in the way that can change lives, because it's like patient through the storm. It's like, where you don't react. And I actually study like Buddhism a little bit and Zenic philosophy. Zenic Buddhism is a specific branch, and I very, very lightly on the periphery, kind of because I was into the new agey stuff when I was younger. And definitely The Power of Now was a transformational book to read for me. And that draws on a lot of those kinds of things, those kinds of elements of just being patient, of waiting, of non-reaction, and actually Stephen Covey in his book 7 Habits of a Highly Effective Family, which is the one I prefer over the 7 Habits of a Highly Effective Person, says the same thing, is you want to have that pause. There's a special pause between a action and your reaction. You don't have to react immediately. You need to have a pause between what happens and then how you react to it. And Chips is like the embodiment of that pause. He has so much patience, but it's not just like, a golden retriever being climbed on by a bunch of puppies and kittens chewing on its ear sort of patience. I'm talking about the kind of patience where the world could be falling down around you and he would still have this center of calm where he would just look up and he would be able to clearly see what needs done because of his patience, because he doesn't spiral out of control. He doesn't react to everything. He's not reactive. He's patient, and it's amazing. And it's really wonderful. He's like the spirit of a really great old oak tree. The one that you climb up the mountain to find and you sit down below it, and it's patient. And it's been there a long time. And you get that feeling, which is funny because I'm older. And that's how I feel about him. And I am older than him, but just by a few months. We're pretty much the same age most of the year. Right now is the rare period of time where I am older than him for just a few months. So kind and patient would be 2 of the words. And then what would be another word? Like his patience and his kindness are so wrapped together, and they're so immense that they ripple out. And it's like if someone could be as kind and as patient and thoughtful, will be the last word I use. Kind, patient, and thoughtful as possible. That's him. And so kind and so patient and thoughtful that it's actually hard to think up another word that could describe him, because it's so immense. That's how patient he is. And so, yeah, it's really difficult to describe, other than that I lucked out so much in being able to meet this amazing person and grow up with him. It's been fantastic. So yeah, that would be what I would describe Chips' personality as. All right, so shifting from that, Tara asks, are you using mods for your warrior series, and how are you rolling the random generators? And by now I will hopefully have made a video or 2, which I said that about Prehistoric Parkway, last Greenhouse Rambles I recorded, and whoops, I didn't do that. But I will have made a video or 2 describing how I use the mods and describing how I use the random generators. So yes, I do use mods for the Warrior Cat series, mostly just to make sure that I can play the game how I want with enough cats and being able to move them around and try for kittens even after you hit technically the max number of sims and pets on a lot. And I use the random generators by using random.org and rolling for a new integer number. And I have a big giant list that's a numbered list that tells me if the integer answers are like, if aka the numbers are this or this, what the results will be. So that's the random generators. Grow, my little plants, flourish, bud faster. Is this speed grow? Do I have speed grow? This is speed grow. Oh, I can't afford that. I'm so poor. Grow faster and give me money plants. Okay, we'll just have to sit here and catch bugs, I guess. It's bug catching simulator 101 while we ramble in the greenhouse. But yeah, I do use random.org for the generators, so there's nothing fancy. Pavo hinted at me that he could teach me how to make random generators that actually will give the results instead of having to roll just for a number and then pull out a sheet and be like, okay, what is that result? So if I can, I will be making those and sharing them with you guys so you guys can enjoy using them in your Warrior Cats challenges and role plays, which are really fun. And then Awesome Pants asks, Seri, do you know how many pets you have? And yes, thankfully, Awesome Pants, I am aware of how many pets I have. That would be really bad if like you didn't know how many pets you had. And I could understand that with some pets, like if you had just a bunch of guppies and you're like, I'm not sure if they've eaten each other or not. I don't know how many guppies are in that tank, but I have 8 birds. I have Blueberry and Silverberry, who I'm looking at right now. Hopefully Blueberry's still okay by the time you guys hear this. She's sick right now. So this is one of those really awkward, like, oh wow, if you pre-record for your vacation, Seri, and your bird is sick, well, she looks like she's doing better right now. So awkwardly moving past that, I have Ossii and Persimmon, and then I have Pumpkin, Strawberry, Ossii Jr., who is Ossii's son, and Starburst back there. Hey, buddy. So I have 8 of my Gouldian finches, and I have 3 crested geckos, Mellow, Maya, and Midna. The M tank, as I used to call them. I used to have 11 crested geckos because I ended up with so many since I helped my friend run a reptile rescue. And we just get so many reptiles because people just would get bored of their reptile because they don't do a lot sometimes. And for some people, that's enough. And for other people, they get really disappointed. So there was a lot of turnover with the guys who got bigger, like bearded dragons, and with the guys who didn't do a lot, like leopard geckos and crested geckos. And so I did at one point have 11 crested geckos, and thankfully I was able to rehome them because that was too many for me, especially when we're going to be moving. Get in my net! Yay, I got it! What is that one? What is that one? Alright, that's a common blue butterfly. But alright, I've rambled too much. I got really sidetracked by wondering how I'm going to survive Michigan winters. If you have any advice or tips, let me know if you live up in cold places. But yeah, I have 3 crested geckos, 8 Gouldian finches right now, and I used to have a lot more animals, but I've been trying to size down because Chips and I are getting ready to go on lots and lots and lots of adventures all around the world. He's getting very excited, and he's been showing me recently, get in my little, there you go, in my little collection. He's been showing me recently a lot of videos like pictures and videos of where we're going to be staying in Taiwan when we go over to Taiwan for his studies next summer. So this is going to be really exciting. And then let's see, I'll answer a couple more really quick because I definitely rambled too long. Lovely Minecrafter asks, if I could have one of the plants in Plant Tycoon, what would it be and why? Oh yes, I caught that bug. See, I'm actually getting more money catching bugs than anything right now. Oh my goodness. And that would be the fern. Where'd my little fern seeds go? That would be probably this daisy fern. Out of all of the plants that I currently have, the daisy fern, and then that little, let's see if I have a purebred strain. I really hope I do. I'll be sad if I don't. This guy right here, this rose plant. I like this rose plant, and I like the daisy fern. Ooh, and I'll have to see what happens when they have a baby. But these are just plants that I really like a lot. I love the flower look on the roses. I love poppies, poppies, and one of my favorite flowers are actually, peonies. I almost forgot the name. Peonies are one of my all-time favorite flowers. And I like daisies, and I love ferns. There's just something charming about plants that are like really green like that. Philodendrons, ferns, I really love them. So I would really want like these 2 plants right here out of all the plants we've grown so far. And there's some other plants, like there's a hibiscus-y looking guy that we've got like the flowers of right there. And I love hibiscus. So as I was mentioning that like little green paradise I plan on building in Michigan, yeah, you can imagine we're going to be, I'm hoping when we move, the other thing to really fight seasonal affective disorder is just kind of stay busy and in a healthy, happy way. And one of the things I plan on doing is trying to grow lots of plants, because when we finally stop moving, I'll be able to be confident about being able to grow some more exotic plants that might need a little bit more attention at our home. And so when we move and I'm trying to combat like the evils of the dark skies during the winter, I do hope, come here, little dragonfly. I do hope to be able to like vlog growing a whole bunch of exotic plants, like the seeds that Joe from Australia sent me from like wild Australian wildflowers. So I'm really gonna have fun with that. So yeah, those would be the plants I would do. And then Noah asked, please do the bullying video on the main channel. And I totally will when I have the capability of describing when I was bullied. And the thing is, a lot of people don't tell you that it doesn't end in middle school. You can actually get bullied as an adult. You can get bullied by people who are in positions of power over you, like school administration or your bosses, or people who you thought were on your side 100%, like people who are your boyfriends or girlfriends, or people who say they love you, or family. Like that can happen. So I want to be able to address that really big, important issue very carefully and critically. So I will be talking about my experiences with being bullied and what I've learned, and things that I hope aren't like just kitsch, like things that I hope aren't just those tiny little safe, easy answers to give to people. That might be actual, like on the ground, really helpful advice. And I don't know what that is though. So I want to do a lot more careful, critical thinking about it. But I just will tell you guys now, yeah, I was horribly bullied. And like I said, by teachers, by people who said they loved me, by people I was with like for years and years and years, like long-term friends. And sometimes it doesn't happen. Like you don't just enter a relationship with a bully. You think they're your best friend, and then things really warp and turn bad over time. And sometimes good friendships, the person just, they can't keep up with their own growth, and it's really hard to learn when you have to let go. And like you think, oh, should I be a loyal friend and like stick this out? They're going through a rough time. So I'll try to talk about that fine balance of when you realize, oh, I need to leave this situation, even though I feel like they need me and they say they need me. And this is too much. Like I definitely am a bit of a giver. And I've learned that can put you in a very, very dangerous place with some of your friends if you aren't able, for their sake and your own, to pull back and let them know that they're pulling too much from you. Even if they're saying like they're at these really painfully critical times in their lives. So yeah, we'll talk a bit about that. I just need to figure out how to phrase it, but I don't mind mentioning it casually like this, just to let people know that that's stuff that happens. And you've seen happy, cheerful Seri. You've seen me grow, especially over the last couple of years of doing this YouTube channel, into a successful, happy adult woman. And I have no regrets, really, over my life. Even looking back on those kinds of moments, even looking back at the nasty things people said, or how I felt, or how worthless I felt, I'm able to look back on that now, and it doesn't weigh me down. It doesn't pull me under. It doesn't define who I am, and turn around and see this beautiful, amazing life I have, where I can look at really serious problems like what am I going to do with my seasonal affective disorder in Michigan winters, and be willing to go, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be as happy as possible, and I'm going to figure out a way to make this work for me with that kind of energy. So it's possible to bounce back from that kind of really, really, really nasty stuff in life and come forward with that kind of positive energy. So I'll try to just talk about that. Maybe just rambling about it like this is helpful to you guys. It's very difficult to figure out, like, how do I say the perfect words? Like, what would have the perfect words been for me when I was in that situation? And it's really hard to think about. Oh gosh, and a lot of our plants are super unhealthy, which means they're rarer seeds, which means we need to hurry up and like get this better soil. I need more money. Come to me, little bugs. But all right, I'm going to let these guys grow. Leave your questions in the comments below. I am keeping this huge giant list that I'm just kind of picking through every time I feel like rambling. And it feels really freeing to be able just to talk to you guys about these kinds of things. And I hope that you find it insightful or entertaining, or maybe just gives you a half hour to be able to listen to somebody else's voice for a little while. Because I know I get lonely sometimes all day at my house. And I do the same thing with other people's videos. So yeah, thank you guys. And I will see you guys next time. And go ahead and ask all sorts of fun questions, serious questions, whatever's on your mind, or just share, like, ask, like, Siri, what's your favorite type of cake? You know, anything. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.